A to Z Mysteries, The New Year Dragon Dilemma, Super Edition 5 by Ron Roy. Chapter 2. A teacher led her class past the 3 kids and Holden. I heard that a 5th grader fell into the shark tank and got eaten, one of the boys said to a friend. Isn't that cool? Are there sharks out there? Josh asked, gazing toward the ocean. Sure, they come to try to catch the sea lions, Holden said, but those kids are talking about the sharks in the aquarium. Did they really eat a 5th grader? Dink asked. Holden laughed. Nope, he said. The sharks are fed every day, so they're not hungry. Holden leaned past Dink and pointed toward a glass and stone building next to Pier 39. Want to go in? He asked. How much does it cost? Dink asked. Don't worry. Your dad bought city passes for you kids, he said, reaching into his pocket. Museums and the aquarium are free with these passes. You can also use them on buses and the cable cars. The kids followed Holden through the crowd. Holden showed the passes at the turnstile, and they walked inside. The first thing they saw was an escalator that carried passengers past glass tunnels filled with ocean water. Oh my gosh, Josh cried. Look! Swimming in a water tunnel only a few feet from their faces was a huge shark. Then they saw other sharks, manta rays, and a bunch of other fish. I hope that glass is thick, Dink said. The kids and Holden rode the escalator until the end. Then they did it again. Those sharks look hungry, Josh said. Don't they eat the other fish? The staff feeds them a lot, Holden said. If their tummies are full, the sharks won't go after anything else. Speaking of full tummies, Josh said, rubbing his, I saw a snack bar over there. You're hungry? Holden asked. Josh is always hungry, Ruth Rose said. Josh, don't forget we're meeting my dad for dinner later, Dink said. I'm a growing boy, Josh said. Holden took the kids to the snack bar, and they chose a long table. In the center of the table were napkins, salt and pepper shakers, and fat bottles of ketchup and mustard. A man wearing a t-shirt and jeans sat at the far end of the table. He was hunched over a laptop. A silvery cell phone lay next to the laptop. Dink smiled. He pulled a small notebook and pen from his pocket. He wanted to be a writer someday, and had gotten in the habit of writing down stuff he saw. Dink thought this man looked interesting. His head was shaved, leaving only a light fuzz of hair. His face and arms were deeply tanned. On the back of each hand was a tattoo of an M. The man stopped typing and cut a slice from an apple with a sharp fisherman's knife. Come on, Holden said. Let's get Josh some food. I'll stay here, Dink said. I'm not really hungry. The others left, and Dink started scribbling a description of the man working at his laptop. The man's cell phone buzzed, and he picked it up. Yo, he said into the phone. Dink kept writing. The man looked at Dink, then turned away and lowered his voice. Dink heard him say something about a boat or goat or float. Then he said, the second tire works. Dink wrote that down too. Dink snuck a peek at the laptop. He saw a picture on the screen. It was a simple drawing like a kid would make. The drawing showed a wagon with 4 wheels. The man looked at Dink again, then hit a button on the laptop keyboard. The drawing vanished. In its place was a photo of a green boat with white sails. Just then, Josh, Ruth Rose, and Holden showed up. They were carrying a large bucket of French fries and 4 lemonades. They plopped everything down on the table. I bought fries for everyone, Holden told Dink. Josh told me you love them. They all began eating, reaching into the bucket and sharing the ketchup. The tattooed man flipped his cell phone shut, tucked the laptop under his arm, and strolled away. "What kind of meetings is your dad having?" Holden asked. "His job is teaching teachers how to use computers in their classrooms," Dink said. "He's here to meet other teachers who do the same thing." "Sounds interesting," Holden said. The kids finished eating. "Can I buy some postcards?" Ruth Rose asked Holden. "Sure, there's a rack of cards over by the door," Holden said. "We can stop on our way out." They cleaned up the table and headed for the exit. "I'll wait outside," Holden said. While Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were looking over the card rack, Dink glanced out the window. He saw a woman with purple hair. She was licking an ice cream cone of the same color. He noticed a teenager texting on his cell phone while munching on a hamburger. And he saw the man who had been sitting at their table with his laptop. He was walking toward the piers. To Dink, it looked as if the man was heading right for the sea lions. Dink picked out a postcard for his mom showing Fisherman's Wharf. The kids went to the counter and paid for their postcards. "I'm gonna ask Holden to let me drive that bike thing," Josh announced as they walked outside. "Then I'm walking," Ruth Rose said. "Me too," Dink said. Josh grinned. "Gotcha," he said.